We have balance changes, smart ring reworks, and some quality of life changes coming in Moco Chapter 2. I'm going to be talking over inside today's video. So first up, I'm going to be talking about the weapon and gadget balance changes. And first on the list is the medicine ball. It's now going to give an additional 20% to max HP, but do minus 10% healing. Then we've got the Staff of Good Vibes, and that's going to do minus 30% damage, but plus 45% healing. And the Splash Heal is now going to do 20% extra healing. The Revitalizing Mist is going to do minus 10% healing, which I was surprised at this one because I didn't really think it was that OP. And the good old Vitamin Shot, and that's going to do minus 12% healing. And the attack boosts have been changed from 45% increase to 33% increase. And a hefty nerf coming into the Vampire Teeth, and that's going to do minus 27% healing. And no, we've got my favourite one, which is the Buzzkill, and that's going to be nerfed, and it's going to do minus 20% damage, both to weapons and the pets. And the rework, or more of a nerf, I think, to the Jaded Blades, and the combo bar will not charge up anymore if you're attacking. And another nerf to a fan favourite, which is the Speed Shot, and that's coming in with a minus 10% damage reduction, which is the same for the Spincicle, and that itself is getting a minus 10% damage reduction. But good news for the tank players out there, because the Toothpick and Shield is getting a buff with a 10% damage increase, and attacks taken required for combo reduced by 25%, and a buff to the CPU bomb with a 10% damage increase, and massively increased combo knockback. And we have a buff coming into the Monster Slugger with a plus 5% damage increase and a plus 30% combo range. Another buff coming into the Wolf Stick with a plus 10% damage increase, both weapon and pet. And the Boombox is getting a plus 10% damage increase. A nerf coming into the Multi-Zapper with a minus 15% damage reduction. And we've got a nerf coming into another fan favourite, which is a Snow Globe with a minus 10% damage reduction. And a nerf coming into the Monster Taser with an additional second on its cooldown. And a change coming into the Spicy Dagger, and that's going to cast the ability in the direction you're facing with your D-pad. And a bit of a nerf coming into the Pepper Spray, and the slow strength and duration is being reduced by 25%. Buff coming into the Explosive 6-pack with a plus 5% damage increase, but I don't think that's going to be enough to get this gadget inside of the meta. Nice little buff coming into the Smelly Socks as well with a plus 10% damage increase. And a nerf coming into the Unstable Lightning with a minus 10% damage reduction. And a hefty nerf coming into the Healthy Snacks as well, giving you 20% less health when you have it equipped. And a nerf coming into the Portable Portal as well. So you're going to need to do 10% more attacks for your gadget to activate when using this weapon. And a rework to the Life Jacket, and this now counts as gadget damage instead of pet damage when broken. And we've got some miscellaneous improvements coming in Chapter 2 that I'm going to go through here. And increase the XP gained from completing daily jobs is going up to 5,000 from 4,000 XP. But we're going to get a reduction in XP gained from completing projects. Increase XP, Shard and Chaos core drops by 25% in dojos and rifts. And they've added more gear slots, which is an awesome quality of life change. And for you PvP players out there, players no longer drop any points on PvP maps. And also fewer stars are needed to reach the next belt inside PvP as well. And you're also going to receive more Chaos cores from the chests at the end of a PvP match. And they've also fix the exploit where when you use your emote just after your weapon attack and it increases your attack speed. They've also fixed that inside the game, so that won't be a thing in Chapter 2 anymore. Also, NPCs and friendly characters that fight alongside you now update their progress bar all the time and not just when fighting, and this is actually a nice quality of life change as well. And also the NPCs move 50% faster when no enemies are nearby. And they've also added a little exit function to the dojo, so you can exit the dojo anytime. And just talking about quality of life improvements and things there, we've also got some progression quality of life changes. So Chapter 1 was rebalanced for smoother progression. Dungeons will be distributed more evenly across the first 30 levels to make progression feel a little bit better. And they're also going to be moving the gear rewards into their own requests, so it feels like a more intuitive way of unlocking them. And you're going to be able to just control the scale and position, whether it be on your phone or your tablet, which is a huge W. Because I try to play on a huge tablet and it's really hard where the controls are. I need to move them a little bit. So this is an actual W quality of life change. I'll also talk about the leaderboards quickly here as well. And we all know from the Moco talk, they're moving the local and global leaderboards. And the global and local leaderboards will be removed from the main leaderboards, replaced by friend and group leaderboards. Events and versus modes will keep local and global leaderboards. So we might see an influx in players in PvP trying to grind them leaderboards. And elite leaderboards are also being streamlined. The Elite Hunter and XP leaderboards are now merged into one. And elite tokens will be the main factor to decide placement in the leaderboards. However, tiebreakers will now be decided on XP level, meaning two people with the same number of elite tokens but different XP levels will have different leaderboard positions. So basically, if you're in global number 1 with 1,000 elite tokens and number 2 has 1,000 elite tokens, you'll be decided whether you're in global 1 or 2 based on your XP level. And as we said, you're going to have friend and group leaderboards, and they're going to be accessible via the settings menu. And the player's XP progress bar won't be visible on the leaderboards anymore as well. So you guys let me know your thoughts in the comments about the leaderboard stuff, because I've been keeping my eye on Discord and things, and there's a lot of people seem not happy with this change, but let me know your thoughts in the comments as well on that. So next up we have the changes coming to the smart rings in chapter 2. So first up we have the major weapon ring, and it reads increase your weapon damage and gives weapon attacks a chance to deal 3 times damage. And then we can see there weapon damage, weapon critical chance. And I just want to say as well, guys, these numbers are going to be different because I am level 143 inside the dev build and my rings are high level. So these numbers will start off lower, and then they will increase as you level up your rings as well. Then we have the minor weapon ring, slightly increases your weapon damage and your health. And then we can see there the stats on the weapon damage and then the stats on the boost to health as well. Major gadget ring, increase your gadget damage and gives gadget attacks a chance to deal 3 times damage. Then we have the minor gadget ring, and slightly increases your gadget damage and your health. So you're getting the gadget damage with this, but also you're getting a boost to your health with this ring instead of the gadget critical chance. Then we have the major passive ring, increase your passive damage and gives passive attacks a chance to deal 3 times damage. And then we have the minor passive ring, and slightly increase your passive damage and your health. So again, just like with the other ring, you're losing your critical chance there, replacing it with health. Major healing ring, increases all healing you and your pets do and gives them a chance to restore 3 times as much health. And then we have the minor healing ring, and slightly increases all healing you and your pets do and increases your health. Then we have the major healing ring, increases your health and all healing you and your pets receive. Then we have the minor health ring, and slightly increases your health and gain a chance to dodge enemy attacks. Major pet ring, increases the damage of your pets and gives them a chance to deal 3 times damage. Minor pet ring, slightly increases the damage of your pets and your health. Then we have the major pet health ring, increases the health of your pets and all healing you and your pets receive. And then the minor pet ring, slightly increases health of you and your pets. Moving on to the major damage ring, increase all damage you and your pets deal. And then the minor damage ring, we're coming in with slightly increases all damage you and your pets deal and your health. Major crit ring, you and your pets gain a chance to deal 3 times damage on all attacks. And then the minor crit ring, you and your pets gain a small chance to deal 3 times damage on all attacks and increases your health. Then we have major executioner's ring, you and your pets deal more damage to enemies below 20% health, which is an interesting one. Then we have the minor executioner ring, and you and your pets deal slightly more damage to enemies below 20% health and increase your health. So this sort of ties in with the balance changes with these rings, because the plan from the team was they wanted to make some changes to the hunter gear because the roles weren't well defined in chapter 1, and they were planning on fixing that, obviously coming in with the balance changes and the rework to the rings, because they want to sort of define the roles better with being tank, healer and damage dealers, or even a hybrid. So as you can see, a lot of the rings do have healing on, and that's why we got some of the nerfs with the healing gadgets as well, so it all ties in better, so you're not just invincible out there. So hopefully with these changes to the rings and the balance changes, you've got to put a bit more thought and time into your builds and stuff, especially when you try to do rifts and things like that. So that concludes the balance changes and the smart ring reworks and the quality of life changes. And click on the video popping up on screen to see the new weapons, passives, gadgets and elite modules coming to Moco in chapter 2.